for another live. Happy Thursday. I'm early today. Been slacking a little bit with the live, but we back at it. We ain't gonna let nothing stop us. Even though life been giving me a lot of lemons, but I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Definitely like a challenge, man. One thing I want to say, quick little message. I gotta tell you guys before I get into giving you guys this build list on one of the cheapest way you can build your 5.7 Hemi um, RAM or whatever that has a 5.7 Hemi inside of it. I'm gonna be sharing with you guys that. One thing I want to say though, man, on this live before we get started, you gotta understand today motivational where I want to give you guys. You gotta you gotta understand. You gotta keep going. So my word I want to share with you guys today, if you're going through a tough time or if you whatever you're going through right now, the key word is you got to keep going. I'm about to share that with you guys right now on the Q&A. Can't even talk, but let me try to pop that up and see if I could give you guys a little bit more of. I'm gonna add a question. Let me build list. All right, y'all. So y'all gotta understand, right? Let me start that Q&A. Y'all gotta understand the key word today I want to share with you guys. Those that subscribe to my channel, you gotta keep going. That's the key word I want to give you guys today. You gotta keep going. Life gonna keep throwing every curve, everything at you. But the key is you gotta keep going. You cannot stop doing what you need to do. That's just how life is. In order for you to get in order for you to get to that position you need to be at, or whatever that dream you wanna goal you wanna achieve, this and that, you gotta accept a lot of ish, man. Like you gotta accept a lot of things. You gotta accept you going through one of the hardest time in life to be able to achieve anything that you want to achieve. Let's say you set a goal where, let's say you set a goal, right? That you want to lose probably 100 pounds, or you want to have your dream car, this and that. You want to work hard and have your dream car. So, in order for you to achieve that, here's the thing: when you have goals set in life, no matter what it is, in order for you to achieve that goal, you gotta accept everything that comes with it. When I mean you gotta accept everything that comes with it, you gotta accept your friends not talking to you. You gotta accept a breakup. You gotta accept you having hardship to work, you being tired. It's like you gotta accept all of these the negative things, bad things that normally you wouldn't want to accept as being a human. That's how it is. We typically don't want to go where it's uncomfortable. We normally want to stay where we are comfortable. So that being said, I'm not gonna give you guys a whole rundown on this. We are talking about how to build your 5.7 Hemi engine the cheap way. I'm gonna be sharing with you guys that. So just remember this one word, man. You gotta keep going in life. Don't let nothing stop you. But the cheapest way you could build your 5.7 Hemi, right? Let's say you start off, you got a brand new or used pickup truck, whatever it is that. One of the cheapest way that you can go about building it to become something more powerful. First step I want to say is where I'm gonna want to start off at. First thing off the rip, what I want to start off, cold air intake. That would be my first number one thing. Number one, cold air intake is what I'm gonna want to start off with. Why? Because even though it's not like a big, huge mod that's gonna make your truck see like a crazy amount of power, that's in that the third, but it's definitely a good start for you to start off at because number one, the stock intake that are on these trucks, they like if you guys ever notice, if you plan on buying, like not you don't even have to plan on buying anything, but if you got one of these trucks, right? If you don't believe me, just open up your OEM air intake that comes with these trucks, right? The little circle part that's on there, like the little tube part. If you open it up and look inside, also check and see how dirty your filter is. And you look inside, you will see the amount of dirt that's sitting there, man. It's a lot of dirt that's sitting there. That's why I would recommend that. The first the first place I would start off is buying a aftermarket core intake. What I normally would say, you're gonna buy an aftermarket core intake, stick to plastic. Do not try to buy like the metal con because obviously you don't want that itch to attract heat into your engine. You want your engine to be nice and cool as possible. So me, I have the air raid core intake. I was looking at before. I was looking at I think the Corsa. It's like the close-in box one. Kind of look a little bit cool, but obviously that one was just a little bit over out of my price range, and also, even though it had a nice, cool look and stuff, but I ended up not going with that. But I got the air raid core intake. Definitely made a huge difference on the truck. So number one, you don't have to start in the order I'm giving you guys. You can start in whatever order you want, but I would say a core intake is a start. That's where you want to start off because it's like the most affordable thing that you can pretty much buy for your truck. Probably spending the most, probably what, $300. Sometimes they do get a little bit pricey, but 300, 250, somewhere around there is like reasonable. And I don't do like I didn't go with the smaller core, like the core intake and one I have, because I know they have like the smaller cons too. But I just end up going with like the a little bit of a bigger size, very simple installing that I did myself. So that's my number one. Number two on my list, this is something that I cannot stand. If you guys ever notice this, if you pop your hood on your truck, right? Let's say you got a 2014 Ram, and you see a lot of people always complain about this though, but thankfully I haven't experienced it yet. But my truck soon gonna be getting a different exhaust manifold. But if you look at your stock exhaust manifold that's on these trucks, they are like the worst looking exhaust manifold ever. Very, very restrictive. Also, are a piece of junk. I'll tell you that. If you ever have like, it's not really gonna cost you that much money to get some long tube headers, even though they are kind of expensive. But I think that you spending probably $1,500 to get like a long tube headers is definitely something that I would say that you could get. But if you don't want to spend that much, you don't have to go the route of you buying this brand new. Like all you got to do is like simply just like me, I'm in Facebook. I'm on Facebook obviously, and then I have like I'm in these group chat with like the Rams and stuff like that. And trust me, you can always buy a used long tube headers. Like for me, I think probably a couple weeks back, I seen Cook's long tube headers on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody had it listed for about, I think it was like $700, $800, which was a good effing deal. I ain't gonna lie. For Cook's long tube headers, because they super expensive. It's like twice the price. So he was asking like around like 700 or something. He was in New York, and I think that was a pretty good deal to be honest. But me, I just wasn't in the position to be able to do so. But somebody said, "What's up, bro? I got stainless work on my Hemi. Sounds amazing." That's another good one right there too. Stainless works, definitely another good one. But the key factor is when you building, like you could always do things like you could buy like parts, some parts. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should go out there and buy yourself a ton of used parts. Like for some things you don't want to buy used, but when it comes to headers, stuff like that, I would recommend that you do. If you don't have like the funds, because headers do be super expensive, so you could buy it used from somebody else. Obviously, inspect it first before you buy it, and you have yourself a nice sounding, expensive headers that you probably pay half of the price on there, which is honestly to me is reasonable. But those two things, headers and aftermarket exhaust, well, not exhaust, but aftermarket core air intake will be the first two things I'll say you can do to your truck for an affordable price. Now, I wouldn't recommend you buying like a used core air intake because the price for those is it's really like it depends though. But you could buy yourself. They don't. It's not really that expensive. That's why I would recommend you just buy yourself a brand new one. But exhaust, manifold, obviously, headers, whatever, and stuff like that. Those things are expensive. That you could go the route of used. Headers are really expensive, but definitely worth it. You gotta let that engine breathe. Yeah, it's definitely true. Cause the ones that's on here, like the Ram, if you guys see how the Ram OEM exhaust manifold are, super restrictive junk to me. Honestly, I can't wait to really get rid of mine on this truck because this truck gonna be a completely different animal, man. Now, my next thing on the list, I would say that you could do to your truck. This one is, I would say is to go the route of ditching your 5.7 stock manifold that's on there, pretty much the 5.7 stock manifold on there, and obviously go with the 6.4 truck intake manifold. That would be the route that you can go. Once again, that's another part. It is expensive, but you could find these used. But this really, like, you could pay brand new for this. You could probably buy. You could probably spend at least what, like, reason I say brand new. You could probably buy like $800, $900, which is expensive. But hear me out, right? You could still, if you have the knowledge and stuff, you can port it yourself. Because it does recommend that. I mean, I do recommend that you get it ported if you're gonna go from a 5.7 to a 6.4, or you could probably, if you in one of these Ram 1500 groups, there's always somebody out there sharing, like, trying to sell parts. Obviously, if everything checks out on your checklist for you to buy it, you can go that route. You can always buy stuff like that used. Wouldn't be like a big of an issue, or unless you're one of them guys, you want to have everything brand new. I hesitate to do a lot of mods on mine because of the mileage. It has 170, but it's been taken care of. Yeah, you could definitely do, like, your truck. Mine have like 150, bro. But I've seen guys on YouTube, bro, like their truck. I think he has a YouTube channel too. He has like somewhere around the same mileage you have. He has the heads. I think he have pretty much like a. I think he had custom cam shaft. Like, you could still do mods to your truck if it's a high mileage, but like your truck have to be like, obviously doesn't have a Hemi tick. If it's in a well maintained maintenance stage and stuff, like, the miles really doesn't mean anything, to be honest. But it's just that your truck have to be in the state of well maintained. Like, I'm saying, like, kind of like, I'm not trying to sound like whatever this and that, but kind of like my truck right now. I could do mods to my truck, but the only thing that really stopping me from really doing any kind of heavy mods, to be honest, the fact that this truck has a 6-speed transmission, and the trans have a little bit of a higher side mileage on it. But I do have faith in a 5.7 Hemi engine, even though it has a higher mileage too. But I do understand that with the right mods, if I put the time and money into it, it will not give up on me. It will be able to see like a higher lifespan. But my 6-speed trans, that one is a different story for another day, because there's plenty of guys, I'm telling you guys, man, like, the 6-speed transmission in these trucks is completely, you don't want to try to F around. Because if you F around, you're going to find out. So that's one of the reasons why I'm definitely planning on going with an 8-speed trans, obviously going the route of a 6-speed. But this really, it really comes down to what you plan on doing with your truck. But my next thing I want to share with you guys that you could definitely do to your truck that's a cheap performance upgrade will be like a exhaust setup. Now, exhaust setup, you can go a lot of different route. You can go just get a muffler delete. You can go with you getting like a muffler. You can go with you getting a completely setup to where, obviously, buying the whole setup, it's going to be pretty much expensive. But once again, that's another thing. You could buy used from somebody and save yourself a lot of money. Or you could do what I did, pretty much. Do a muffler delete. It sounds good. Later on down the line, when you get long tube headers, it's gonna sound crazy. It's gonna sound like you got some kind of high-end exhaust on there. The only thing I want to do is the 6.4 swap in a tune, because I'm going with bigger injectors. Yeah, that's definitely recommended too. But your miles, bro, I don't know if does your truck have an 8-speed transmission? Your miles really not a huge issue, bro. Like, it's really not when you doing the mods and stuff. Like me, my thing is just the fact of my transmission on this truck. I did have to replace the torque converter on this truck, not when I recently got it. But a good thing it had warranty and stuff like that. So, and it was about like $4,000 to get the torque converter replace on here, so it costs a lot of money. It has a stock trans. So yeah, you probably got an 8-speed transmission. 9 times out of 10, you got an 8-speed. If you look up your VIN number on your truck, it will give you like the whole information on everything, like the spec. But I have verified this plenty of time with my truck. I was kind of disappointed that this truck apparently has a 6-speed trans, but don't know why, but it is what it is. But exhaust, something that you could buy, use. All your parts, all these parts I'm sharing with you guys, if you got a Facebook, right, this is what you could do. If you plan on buying any kind of parts for your truck. Now, I would say some parts are worth buying used. Not every part is worth parts that you plan on buying for your truck. You want to buy used. You want to buy some of them new. But when it comes to expensive things like exhaust, headers, stuff like that, that's why I'm in this group on Facebook, the Ram 1500 group. You could share some things on there. People share stuff in the chat where if you have parts you want to sell, sometimes you can come across some good things that you never know. So like for me, when I was on Facebook Marketplace, I came across the fact that they had Cook's long tube headers, which is like 1500. That's like one of the best, in my personal opinion, that's one of the best headers that you could buy for these trucks. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, even though it have a slight of a fitment issue because the your dipstick, from what I heard, they say like your dipstick sometimes you have to bend it the opposite direction because it's gonna be touching the on the driver's side. The driver's side is like an issue doing it, but just the dip shit. Damn, I can't even. I'm talking too fast because I'm on my break. I got like probably 10 more minutes, 10, 15 more minutes, but Cook's is one of the best long tube headers you can get for your truck, man. And then another thing I want to add on is a custom tune. Now, what I recommend, Diablo, like the tune stuff, some trucks is different though. Like I know that's 2014, I think it's 2015 and up, where it require you to have your PCM or ECM, something like that unlocked. My truck doesn't really require that, thank God. But if you got a 15 and up, then yeah, you gotta unlock your PCM and stuff like that. But my truck doesn't have. My truck is a 2014 and below, pretty much so. But you can always go the cheap route with things. You just want to play it safe and be smart. Do things in a way where I always say that when you modify anything, you definitely got to make sure that you're like you got to make sure you do your research. Yo. I learned the hard way, yo. You said, yeah, when I had my headers installed, I had to move my dipstick. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I hear a lot of people have whenever. I think it's just the long tube headers in general. Like, but never, one thing I recommend, never buy your parts from eBay. Unless it's a used OEM part somebody's selling on eBay, but them brand new parts that they be selling headers, pretty much stuff like that. You don't want to buy those things, them off-brand headers, especially when it comes to injectors, things, stuff like that. You don't really want to go that route. One of the places that I recommend if you want to buy parts, you can go on modesperformance.com. That's another place that sell a lot of Ram 1500 parts. Now OEM, obviously Mopar, I think Mopar.com or something like that. But OEM parts is expensive, man. I ain't gonna lie. OEM parts is super expensive. But one thing I gotta say, y'all, man, like y'all gotta like this live for me, man. I've been slacking a little bit with the live. I ain't go live. I think I missed 2 days, but I've been trying to do this every day. Life been throwing me a whole lot of lemons, but it's cool though because I like challenge and stuff like that. So give you guys a quick little message. No matter whatever challenge you're going through in life, yo, you gotta stick it through. Like you gotta it could be losing a loved one, it could be breakup, could be finance, could be whatever issue you're going through, man. I can tell you guys, I'm a huge believer of God. So one thing I could say is I have noticed that whenever you have hard times in life, us humans always try to shift from trying to run away from it. Like you always good for you to face your problems. Whatever problems you have, you gotta face it, you gotta accept it. Like You can't run the opposite way from it because you eventually still gonna have to face that problem. So just keep in mind to keep going. That's all I gotta say. This is a car channel, this and that, but I like to be very real, honest with you guys because that's the whole point of me going live because I feel like live really just y'all really get to see who kind of like you really get to see my real personality as a person behind the camera. It's like you right here, I'm right here. It's like you talking to me live in, real time. I mean, it is in real time, but compared to me recording a video, posting, you're not really gonna see. I mean, you kind of get an idea of the kind of person I am, but yeah, I got a lot of things planned for this Ram, man. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of modification. My biggest mod to come, I ain't gonna lie, yo, is to get my 5.7 Hemi swap to 6.4. That's like the biggest thing, man. One of y'all, y'all gotta be on Facebook Marketplace, man. I ain't gonna lie. That's why I see a lot of like these, especially if you want like a Yoon 6.4 Hemi block. You probably plan on going the same route. That's like the best place you can find yourself a good block for a reasonable price without you having to pay crazy amount of money. But there's still precautions you do got to take going that route. Obviously, you want to make sure the person that's selling the information is legit because Facebook do have a lot of scams sometimes. Legit information's having paperwork on whatever car that block came out of. Pretty much stuff like that though. But this is what I really do sometimes with parts. I mean, I think I wouldn't say right now my truck have any kind of Yoon's parts on there. Everything on here, like far as the lower end springs, I'll say upper control arm. I'll say what else? What else? I forgot everything else I have on this truck, but everything on this truck so far now is pretty much still like it's brand new stuff. Even the bed cover is brand new, but certain things though, I've been looking, trying to find myself some parts for my truck. And let me know, man. I'm gonna go live tomorrow too. If y'all want to live, let me know. If y'all, whatever topic y'all want me to talk about that involve cars or Mopar, whatever, this and that, y'all gotta let me know. The boy is back, going live every day, man. Definitely gotta keep. I appreciate the support. If you on this channel and you support my channel, you subscribe, comments, whatever, bro. Definitely appreciate all of that. Definitely the little things is what really keep me going. So I don't really ain't too many Ram channel on YouTube, but I'm trying to do a little bit different being a YouTuber. I guess I can call myself a YouTuber now, but it's still like a learning progress. It's one of them things that you gotta learn. You just gotta do it. Do it, figure it out as you go. That's how it is with me. With my channel right now, I'm just figuring out as I go. But we're gonna get there though, man. Building one of the fastest, I'll say, gonna be one of the fastest quad cab Ram on YouTube. You guys just be patient. Y'all gonna see. Even though I've been having the urge of just doing everything right away. That's the thing about modification, yo. When you modifying these cars, it's like sometimes you just get the urge that you just want to do everything in one day. Like you just want to jump the process, but it's a whole step, man. It's a whole process that takes a very long time, man. Take a very long time when you're doing all of this. But I'm about to end this live. I'm about to go back into work. Y'all make sure you're subscribed. I'm gonna be going live tomorrow. Like this. I'll see you guys in the next one.